today on the Unsettled, we will be delving into a case many may not be familiar with, and neither are you.
No.
So this kind of makes a change.
Mm.
This is something you've got no idea about, and quite frankly, I found it quite an interesting, if not thought-provoking case.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, I want to say thank you for subscribing, and gradually we'll probably leave our socials down below.
Yep.
And if you're new here, do subscribe because it helps us out, and we shall set up a Discord at some point and get something going with that as well.
Yeah.
Possibly in the future.
Hopefully.
It'll be easier.
Mm. And then we can do some live Q&A stuff.
That'd be cool. Do a live Q&A and get people involved. So yeah, if you are new here, please subscribe, and if you want to ask us any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll add them to an upcoming video where we'll just pile a list of questions and we'll go through them.
Yeah.
So, this case, Ada Kent and the skeleton in her cottage.
Ooh.
You like skulls?
Mm. I do like the dark and macabre stuff.
This is a bit more interesting.
Mm.
So I'm going to take everyone back to the 1930s. What was life like? Probably shit.
It's probably more simpler.
Yeah, the war was still vaguely around.
Mm.
A woman called Ada Kent was actually a pretty big star, an upcoming actress who was also British.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, putting it back onto our turf for once. She appeared on stage and in film productions under her stage name Vera Verkale? Go with it.
Mm.
Anyway, although she was not entirely worldwide known.
Okay.
She was very popular in her homeland of England though. After becoming rather successful, she decided to move to a quiet little cottage in Fingringhoe in Essex. Don't.
Sounds like a nice place.
She moved there to simply become a recluse spinster.
Oh.
She was unmarried and she lived alone.
I bet she had loads of cats.
She had no cats, no kids. She actually didn't like mingling with people at all, which is why she became more of a recluse. So she was last seen alive on March 6th, 1939, when she strolled into the local pub to buy her cigarettes, Woodbine.
Oh.
But your granddad probably smokes a lot.
No, my nan used to smoke the old Woodbines.
See?
Mm.
So months passed, and her friend, who knew Ada may be busy, soon got worried after 3 months of not seeing her. It's like you not hearing from me for 3 whole months.
Mm.
You'd think I was dead.
Well, I think you were off doing something, but...
Yeah, more or less, I'm pretty much dead anyway, nonetheless. So she went to the police after no one answered the door to her cottage, yet her home and front door was all unlocked.
Why didn't she just go in?
She did. Her friends searched the house from top to bottom and also told the police this when she entered the police station. So, Kent Police listed the local policeman, Bernard, his name.
that's an old-timey name, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a
Bernard.
Bernard the dog, everything, right? So he decided to go and check the house over with another police officer. No one was home or no body was found. No body, in terms of the body, right? His statement was written as follows. You're curious about this, aren't you? So the press report stated she had literally vanished from her home. No witnesses, nothing, only those who saw her that last day to pick up her cigarettes from the local pub.
Yeah.
The door to her cottage was unlocked. A supper tray with remains of a meal present upon the dining table but half eaten.
Which you would if you needed to go down
to
pick up your smokes.
A copy of Romeo and Juliet was laid open on an armchair near the fireplace. Her usual coat she was seen wearing that day was on the coat rack.
So she'd obviously got home.
Yeah. The police then searched each room from top to bottom. Nothing was found, nor a sign of a struggle, nothing out of place, nothing unsettling.
And she just left, but that's unsettling as it is.
So, that was the case so far. 3 years later, no one had heard from Ada Kent. No one had seen her, she hadn't appeared in any films, productions, any type of that, she hadn't moved away, right? So 3 years later, in 1942, a close friend of Ada, George Winkle, visited the cottage to personally track down his friend, as he stated the police did nothing much to find her.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we have a wrap on the police at this point.
He broke in through the door, searched the three-roomed house, looked in every cupboard, and went through every single one of her notes and drawers to try and find just a sign.
Something.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, just look for any clue. But he searched everywhere, bear this in mind. From top to bottom, without hesitation.
Every cupboard and...
He claimed she had literally just vanished. But how or why?
If you say aliens, mate...
No. In March 1949, the bank contacted the local police regarding Ada's account. The bank tried and failed to contact her regarding large deposits made into her account. The last deposit was made in 1948. And gradually then the bank decided to contact the police.
So what was she doing
To
earn this money?
Police thought instantly Ada may have returned home. They went to check and did regular checks on the house, as local kids during this time period of the war and so on would be in and out of her house through the back window, searching and haunted house style. Yeah. But no one knew the whereabouts of where this woman was. But that was literally the whole idea, right? So you get the whole idea of this so far, right? So
vanished. It's sort of basically an X-file.
They had a report that something was odd about this cottage. Okay. So this is roughly 10 years later now.
There's now rumours and the demon cottage upon it.
Police opened the cottage door, and yet nothing seemed odd or out of the ordinary. That was until they went upstairs.
It had been dusted.
No. There, sat on the chair next to the bed, was a full life-size skeleton.
Oh, they put it back.
Next to it was a large bottle of poison on the bedside cabinet.
Oh dear.
Seems a bit odd. After so many people and all these kids had been going in and out of the house, all of a sudden they come across a skeleton. Right. The statement read, despite kids trying to break in countless times, the house was now dirty, the supper tray still where it was, yet the Romeo and Juliet book was now missing.
Okay.
And may I also add, there was no robbery at all, as jewellery and money remained from the day that she had been missing on the counter. So all her jewellery remained in her bedroom. Money had still been left on, despite the kids running in and out.
Yeah, but
they'd left everything. They just thought it was funny to go in the house and hide and play hide and seek, and you probably get the idea.
Yeah.
But now the skeleton had appeared, and the bottle of poison. Yeah.
Maybe it's clues.
Could be. Within hours of the skeleton discovery and the removal, reporters flooded the streets. The story was making headlines around the world. Now
it's big press now.
Yeah. Now Ada Kent was worldwide famous. Right. But
like all of the famous people, famous in death.
Was Ada the skeleton though? Has she come home and died, or decided to top herself off with poison?
Or was she murdered somewhere else and then the body staged?
Well,
this is how she died.
The papers and the coroner at the time went with the bones were that of Ada Kent.
Okay.
Right. Further investigation.
I don't think. Yeah.
Wait. It gets weird.
Okay.
Further investigation and inquest was followed. Before the police was alerted to Ada Kent's disappearance, though, children were sneaking into her home. Children had discovered the bones under her bed, but didn't think it was a human. One kid, now aged 21, when obviously they raided the cottage and stuff, at the time the newspaper was printed in 1949, said, "We saw the bones under the bed and thought it may have been what a dog chewed on. Many kids would climb in and out of her home during war times. It was the haunted actress's cottage." So they saw the bones back then.
Okay, but why is it now in the chair?
Why is it now set up
in a chair?
Right. So the forensic reports studied the bones, and they came to the conclusion that no injury to any of them had happened. There was no strangulation, nothing of a murder, no blade touching any bones, and there was also no sign of the poison that would have been entered through the mouth or tear ducts that would have affected the bones. So the poison bottle had nothing to do with the skeleton.
Yeah, but then, you know, you wouldn't expect.
If you were to drink poison, you'd have the remains on the inside, put it that way.
Well, yeah, but
they'd find traces of it on bits of muscle that was remained on the skeleton and on bits and stuff.
It depends how far the decomposition though.
Right. So a man came forward eventually and said, even though it may have been kids, her bedroom light upstairs would turn on and off, you know, usual sleep times, like someone was living there.
Okay.
And curtains would move when I'd walk my dog at night. I never noticed anything suspicious. Of course, no one knew she was missing back then.
Everyone knew she was missing. The police.
This was when she very first disappeared.
Okay.
This is before it hit headlines.
Yeah, but you would think the village would know.
Right. The final Scotland Yard forensic report stated the skeleton is unlikely Ada Kent. The bone structure is too big for a woman. That the skeleton was actually a man.
Okay.
Right.
It's not unlikely.
Right.
But
Allegedly, Ada Kent on the day she was last seen looked very unwell and had a rather continuous cough. Till this day, her body and her whereabouts, no one has noticed. And as for the skeleton, they will still claim it's a man's skeleton because of the bone structure.
So what were you thinking? That she killed someone and
Vanished?
vanished?
Or did she have a secret husband that no one knew about?
Did she have a past life? Like with large amounts of money deposited into an account, you'd think, that's a bit suspect.
But think about it, she's pretty famous. Someone would see her with a guy at least.
Yeah.
But no one ever did, because she was a recluse and she didn't want to be around people. She was never seen talking to people.
But then being a recluse, you wouldn't expect to have like a fiance.
No. But it's still weird. But may I also add, when I was reading up about this, I mean, there isn't many reports online.
No.
Which I thought was quite odd, considering it is a bit of an odd case.
Yeah.
But the police officers that checked the house the first time, they looked under the bed, the bones weren't there.
So it's obviously staged.
Planted, possibly.
Or planted.
Yeah.
To
With a bottle of poison.
case.
Yeah, with a bottle of poison, yeah. But after all the forensic reports and everything else, they realised that the bone structure is that of a man.
Do you think it could also be an early stages of witness protection?
Maybe. Maybe.
Because like the dark side of witness protection, you would set up a stage thing to, you know, the main key person. The main key person would vanish. But
it's a very weird case for someone that was becoming very famous very quickly, and she was in movie roles, productions. She was travelling a lot, and then all of a sudden,
like her personality is very odd as well. Like no. You think like to be a recluse,
yeah,
but then put yourself out there to be in movies.
I think what it was is the fact
or maybe she just had enough.
I think,
and then retired.
When I read a bit more, it said that she was more or less an actress. She was really well known, well liked. A lot of people liked her. She went under a fake name in her movie roles. Yeah, and then all of a sudden she bought a little cottage in Essex. And
basically retired.
Yeah,
from
and
the
just
industry.
Kept away from everyone. So maybe she had like an ongoing illness, and no one knew about it. But that skeleton under her bed, which was now sat in the chair, is definitely.
Yeah, but then you would think that I know the doctors and nurses and whatever, like the medical profession, they would obviously she would have to go if she had an ongoing illness. She would have to go to doctors.
Yeah.
Or like the prescriptions.
There'd be someone that knows something.
Yeah.
But no one does. It is literally like she did just vanish. She had enough and she just left. But then that doesn't explain why there's a male skeleton set up in the chair. And weird, right? Consider this weird. But for someone that vanishes, so go through the scenario. She wakes up, she does her dinner, she's a recluse, she She then goes, oh, I suppose I better go to my local pub to get my cigarettes.
Yeah.
She goes there, she obviously comes back, she puts the coat on the hook,
And then
gone. And that's it.
So you would think what happened between the pub and back to the cottage?
Yeah, but then I'm also
Was she
thinking,
followed? Did she have the urge to go like?
Yeah, but I'm also
Did she
thinking
plan it
like, yeah, and right. So
Just
her friend,
a half-eaten dinner. You'd think,
But bear in
I'll
mind
eat half of it for the road, but
there's
I'll
no
eat
sign of a struggle anywhere.
no. So she made the conscious decision herself.
But none of her clothes were taken.
See, that's
No money, jewellery, or everything was all left there, and it had remained left there
and
up until the point they found the skeleton.
Like she didn't take anything out
No,
of the bank.
Even
like
her
she
friends
withdrawals.
didn't know she'd left. But there was still large deposits of money going into her account up until, what was the date? 1948 was the last deposit made. And she vanished.
But then that could, like, the large amount of money, that could be like the different things that she was involved in.
But that's a long time to get paid.
Yeah, but
so
we've done it before, where like the actor or actress has gone off sick, and the
yeah, but for the
company.
bank, yeah, but for the bank not to know, like it's like there was like it would come up with a company name, surely, that you're being paid by this company.
It depends what the rules.
She was last seen alive on March
the
6th, 1939, and up until 1948, money was
10 or so years.
10 years,
Nearly 10 years.
yeah. And even though her friends didn't know where she went, her friend, who was a male, who broke in and thought, the police aren't doing enough, I'm going to search. He searched high and low. You can imagine he would.
Yeah.
And kids had been in there, obviously, previously. He must have looked under the bed. Like, you're bound to.
You're bound to.
You'd
After
be
you've
like,
looked
oh,
everywhere.
has she fell out of bed, rolled on the floor? Has she died in her sleep, rolled out like the corner of the bed and gone under? Depending how the bed was positioned, I've got no idea, but I'm just coming out with a conclusion here. He would have looked.
He would have looked.
But then for money and stuff to remain, and obviously there was no changes in her cottage apart from the dust.
Did she own the cottage?
Yeah, she bought it. The dust.
So yeah, nothing would.
The dust.
It would just be left.
Yeah. So everything was as it was, despite all the kids going in during the wartime.
Well, yeah, like back then they didn't really. You wouldn't go in to break into steal stuff.
No, you'd go in there to play hide.
Have a bit of fun.
Yeah, you'd hide. But the thing is, there was no damage done. The only damage done was when
To
her
the
friend
back
turned
or
up.
whatever.
Yeah, when her friend turned up and he said the police weren't doing enough and broke in through the front door. And even he didn't see the skeleton. And now, all of a sudden, there's a skeleton sat in the chair, and also the book of Romeo and Juliet is now missing. Maybe one of the teenage girls that maybe snuck in took the book. It seems a bit odd though. That you don't take the jewellery, but you take. Well, you might.
But you take the book.
Yeah. But Romeo and Juliet was left open on the page, and I couldn't find what page it was open on. But it kind of adds to the whole poison theory.
It might have been a clue, like a lover's twain.
Romeo and Juliet, they drink the poison, they die. See? It is a really weird one.
It is a weird one.
But to find a male human skeleton under the bed, what are your thoughts? Seriously?
Yeah.
You're out.
It's weird.
I'm glad you liked it.
But yeah, tell us what you think. Drop a comment below.
It makes you wonder if the cottage still stands today.
It probably does, but it's under different ownership.
Probably. It did look really cute though when I looked it up online. It looked like in the middle of nowhere, nestled, all Hansel and Gretel style.
Hansel and Gretel style.
Yeah, there was no actual houses close to it, which was quite weird. Like the houses were a bit further away. But yeah, forensic reports stated the skeleton is unlikely Ada Kent. The bone structure and design of the bones
That as a man.
is that of a man. Maybe she killed someone and then fled.
Well, that is definitely a murder mystery.
Yeah. So yeah, drop a comment as you said, and don't forget to subscribe.
And hit that notification bell so you are aware of the up and coming videos.
Oh yeah, new changes. New videos leading up to our specials that will be coming very soon.
Oh yes.
Throughout September or end of September.
Yeah. So
Depends how long it takes us.
So keep tuned for those. They're going to be very special. We will be going out and about for those.
risking life and death. We could be part of the next unsolved and unsettled cases around the internet.